What am I going to get for Erin? And Stephanie, and Sarah, and Kate, and Liliana. Oh, there's just so many options. Hi, I'm Allie, the Literary Sewist. Here in my crafting castle, I create projects inspired by books I review. But in this video, I'm going to guide you through the ultimate wish list for sewists. Stick around for the end, and I'll tell you what we really want more than anything else. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing to my channel for future installments of my bookish sewing goodness, including book review-inspired projects, sewing tutorials, and informational guides just like this one. Alright, let's talk about the stocking stuffer type gifts. You know, the little things that you grab real quick just to add on to a bonus gift. Or if you're on a budget, something you can give that's incredibly thoughtful and very practical for a sewist. As much as we hate them, our best friend in the sewing studio is a seam ripper. There are several different kinds. There are mini versions, there's long versions. You can even get really fancy ones. But no matter which one you pick, they are always going to be appreciated and used probably more than any other thing in the sewing room other than your sewing machine and scissors. These little clips right here are probably the best invention to sewing ever. They take the place of traditional pins, but they clip on, and you can't put them through your sewing machine and break a needle because it just doesn't go underneath the foot. There are some of us who still use traditional pins, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you might want to spruce up the sewing room with some cute pins. I have heart-shaped ones and little flower-shaped ones on here. They come in all different types of varieties. There's butterfly ones. I've even seen little ladybug ones. They're all kinds of cute things, so check them out. It's always a cute gift to give. When you're sewing, you have your thread and you have your bobbin thread. And sometimes you don't always use the bobbin thread and you don't want to unravel a bobbin when you're going on to your next project. So you save it and set it aside. So storage becomes very, very important for this. I have two different types. This is your more traditional bobbin storage type. It's just a little box. You set them in there and they stay nice and neat. And this is my new one. It's got a little spin on top. You can actually get more of them and stack them even higher if you have more bobbins than are available on here. So this is a little bit different setup. We've got a bobbin clip, so it holds it all in place right here. Your bobbin holder, which just snaps right inside the top of your thread. And for the thread, we have this nifty little rubber holder that keeps the thread from becoming unraveled. Now you can't just give your sewist any old pair of scissors. You do need to get them a good pair of tailor scissors though. We've got different lengths and different colors that come in different varieties. This little one here is good for snipping threads. This one here is good for cutting whole pieces of fabric out from your patterns or for quilting. An alternate to scissors is a rotary blade. This comes incredibly handy when you have a large pattern that you're cutting out and you have a cutting mat. You just cut right through the fabric nice and easy. Sewists are incredibly resourceful people, and when it comes to holding down a pattern, they're willing to use any kind of weight they can find that's handy. I personally use a can of Sailor Moon pasta, but considering it's out of print, I don't recommend getting one of those. Now, an alternative you can do is you can buy pre-made pattern weights online. They usually come in little balls or little squares or triangles, just filled with some sand so that they're a little bit more weighted. But if you want to get crafty yourself, go out and get some air-dried clay and you can make any shape pattern weight that you want. My daughter made me a donut a few years ago. Or you can even go out and grab some rocks from the yard and paint them and make them look nice and pretty. Just some heavyweight rocks will help hold down a pattern. Clear rulers are so incredibly helpful. They are great for people who sew fashions. They are great for quilters. There's all different shapes and sizes. This is an 18 by 24 ruler and I absolutely use it every single day that I sew. For quilters, you can find them in different shapes, lengths, and sizes so that they can make some incredible quilts. I've also seen clear versions of French curve, which is great for those arm side adjustments that we need to make when we're sewing fashions. I personally don't like sewing buttonholes. I'm great at sewing buttons on, and I can do buttonholes. I'm just not a big fan of it. So if I can, with any pattern, I'll get one of these out. This is a Cam Snaps brand hand press. You just put your snaps in here, press down, done. Easy peasy. They also have hundreds of different colors, shapes, and sizes of the different snaps. So if your sewist doesn't have one of these, definitely pick one up. The last little thing that I would like to recommend is a bobbin sidewinder. I don't personally have one, but it is on my personal wish list. It's great because your sewing machine can thread a bobbin, but that requires you to completely unthread the sewing machine to be able to do it. The sidewinder, you just pop it in, it threads the bobbin, and you go back on about your project. Saves you so much time. So what do you do if your sewist has all of these little things? or you just want to spend a little bit more money on them? Well, here's a few options for you. How about a new sewing machine? Every sewist can always use a new sewing machine. Sometimes you just want 2 machines, sometimes you just need an upgraded machine. Now this is a little bit of a personal decision, so you might want to involve the person you're giving this to in the decision process. So make a cute little card with a nice little note saying what your gift is going to be for them, and then go shopping and choose it together. You can also give them option of a new serger, also known as an overlocker, or a cover stitch machine to help their sewing become a little bit more professional and one notch up above where they're currently at. If you got your sewist a rotary cutter, you might also want to consider picking up a cutting mat. These are large mats that can be set down on any surface to help protect the surface underneath. Also gives a nice smooth place for cutting and rolling the rotary blade across. They come in several different sizes, from 12 by 12 up to like 50 by 60. So make sure you have the space and you're getting the right size for your sewist. Ironing fabrics is so important when you're working on a project. You want to make sure you have something that has good steam, good heat, has variable settings so that you don't burn fabrics that are delicate. Getting a new iron and ironing board is an incredible gift to give to someone. A garment steamer is also very helpful, especially if you're someone who works with a lot of clothing fabrics that are delicate, or let's say a lot of ruffles. You can also get a Cricut Easy Press. This kind of looks like an iron, but there's no steam option available to it. It's flat and smooth, and if you're working with vinyl appliques, you will definitely want something like this to be able to push down nice and smooth on your garments. When we're sewing, things tend to get a little dusty, they get a little fabric everywhere, sometimes there's little snips of thread, long pieces of thread. You just want to make sure that you're keeping everything clean. So a mini vacuum cleaner is incredibly handy and something that we don't always think about needing in our sewing space. So many of us who sew just grab whatever chair is available, sit down, and sew. We just want to get on with the project. So a sewing chair. They have a variety of different shapes and sizes. There are some that have little cubbies inside so you can store tools in them. There are some that have roller wheels. There's a lot of variety in picking out a sewing chair, so that's definitely an incredible, thoughtful gift. There are 3 things that are definitely on my wish list. A projector. You can get a projector that shows movies. Projectors can also be used in conjunction with some PDF patterns to project your image onto the cutting mat and your fabric, and you don't have to worry about printing out paper. Not only is it handy because you've got it all right there, it saves you time of putting a PDF pattern together, and it's also great for the environment. An OTT light for your sewing space. Most sewing machines come with a little light bulb that lights up the space that you're working on. An additional OTT light gives you nice, clear, crisp light so you can see everything that you're working on in HD. I did show you the CamSnap hand press, but CamSnaps also has a stand press. This is quite a bit larger, has a huge handle that you just push down, and there are several different dies that you can get for different types of tools that you'll be working with. You've got grommets, your snaps, pearl covered snaps. There's a whole bunch of variety of things that you can get for these. They are a great upgrade for anyone who is working with fabrics or crafts. I definitely recommend them. Those of us who have private sewing spaces can get pretty lonely in here, and we oftentimes will sit and listen to something, music or an audiobook or podcasts. So a couple of tools that are incredibly helpful to have are a Bluetooth speaker, so you can connect and make your volume a little bit louder than your sewing machines, or you can pick up an Amazon Echo Dot. You can listen to music, you can listen to podcasts, audiobooks, all kinds of things. In conjunction with getting either a Bluetooth speaker or an Amazon Echo Dot, you might also want to consider an Audible subscription. For those of us who love to read, audiobooks are extremely useful when we're in the craft room. If you have a little bit of extra wall space, you might want to consider a wall-mounted TV, something that's just above the sewist line of sight so that while they're sewing, they can catch up on their latest shows. One of the challenges with being a crafty person is storage solutions. You forget when you're getting into this that you need somewhere to put all of this stuff. So here are a few ideas that you can get that your sewist will really appreciate. If your sewist is just sewing out in the living room, you might want to consider giving them a dedicated sewing space, either a part of the living room that they can have that's all their own, or a whole separate room like I have here. You find a way to give it just to them that nobody else is allowed to mess with. It feels so special to have your own space that nobody gets to mess with. Calyx shelves from IKEA. There are other versions of them, but they're so handy. They're cubicle shelves that come in several different sizes and colors. You just line things up on your shelf and you can keep them nice and organized. What's nice with the IKEA Calyx version is you get the option of purchasing drawers or cubbies or hanging shelves that you can make it kind of customize exactly what you're looking for in your crafting space. Pegboards with hooks and trays and cups are so perfect. You can just mount it on the wall, put everything in there, and you have it right there handy as you're getting ready to sew. This is assuming you have a dedicated sewing space. If you don't have somewhere in your home that you can do dedicated sewing space, and you need to put things away every time, you might want to consider getting a sewing machine tote. They kind of look like luggage because they do have wheels and little handlebars, but they're super helpful in keeping your sewing space nice and organized and out of the way so it doesn't get damaged. For your fabric and your tools, I definitely recommend getting a clear tote bin. This helps you put everything in, keep it nice and organized, folded, and you can see from the side without opening up exactly which tote has what you're looking for. Alright, if you've made it this far and you still have no idea what to pick up, why don't you go with a gift card? We are always appreciative of gift cards. We can get more fabric, pick out exactly what tools we need, and accessories, all the fun stuff that it's great to go shopping and pick out. Some of the stores that we have here in the United States are Joann Fabrics and Crafts. We have Hobby Lobby, Michaels. Walmart does have fabric, but not a huge variety. So those are some of the stores you can go to in person. If you want to do some online shopping, which might give a little bit bigger variety, we have fabric.com, which is an overall fabric store, much like the big box stores, Joann's and Hobby Lobby. And then there's CaliFabrics.com. They have costume fabrics and fashion fabrics. They also have a lot of interior design fabrics as well. I really enjoy supporting independent fabric shops. Two of the ones that I've worked with are the FabClick Fabric Shop and So English. They both give you the options for gift cards and they focus more on fashion fabrics than anything else. One of my favorite independent PDF pattern companies is Ellie & Mac. They have a wide range of patterns, anywhere from adult clothing to children's clothing, accessories. Definitely check them out. Also be sure to check out your local quilt shops and fashion fabric shops. They are incredibly helpful to have because sometimes you just want to feel the fabric. So if you can get a gift card to one of those, that's definitely a great way to go. Here we are at the end. We've made it to the ultimate list of what we want as sewists. So let me get that answered for you. First and foremost, we want free time. We want uninterrupted, dedicated sewing time where we can just sit down and sew whatever we want. No pressure, no interruptions. So if you have kids, pick them up, take them out to the park, go out for a movie and dinner. Just leave us here and we will take care of the rest. Another way you can help us out is get us a house cleaner that will come in once or twice a month and just kind of tidy up everything and take care of all the nitty-gritty stuff we don't really like to do on a regular basis. Or a personal chef. Just come in, 1 or 2 meals that I don't have to worry about will be so fantastic. And lastly, we want to be pampered. A massage, a manicure, a pedicure, all those kind of things that we can just relax and decompress, especially for those of us who sew for their business. Alright, so I think I've got my list that I can get for all of my friends who are sewists. I hope you found something for your sewist friends and family. Just let me know down in the comments below. Did you find something? Who were you shopping for? I can't wait to hear what you plan on getting them. Thank you so much for joining me on the Ultimate Wish List for Sewists. There are a ton of different options and I'll make sure to leave links in the description below for everything that you can pick up online. If I gave you a ton of ideas, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to this channel for future installments of my bookish sewing goodness. And be sure to ring the bell so you get notified every time there's a new video. See you next time.